I never imagined that betrayal could feel like a living, breathing entity until it happened to me. My wife, Emma, the woman I had trusted with my heart for nearly a decade, had been unfaithful. At first, I refused to believe it. The signs were there, subtle and easy to dismiss. Late nights at work, phone calls she hastily ended, distant eyes that no longer held the warmth I had grown to love. But the truth hit me like a hammer when I discovered messages on her phone, messages with another man. My blood ran cold. The texts weren't just flirtatious, they were intimate, revealing, and entirely without remorse. For a moment, I considered confronting her quietly, letting her confess on her own. But a darker impulse rose inside me. I realized that betrayal of this magnitude demanded more than words. It demanded accountability. The day I filed for divorce, Emma begged. I still remember the way her eyes widened in shock, then narrowed in desperation. "Please," she whispered, tears streaming down her cheeks. I made a mistake. I love you. I can fix this. But love alone could not undo the wounds she had inflicted. And more importantly, I had already begun to plan a revenge that would ensure she felt the weight of her actions. I wanted her to understand betrayal, not through anger or shouting, but through the meticulous dismantling of the life she had taken for granted. I didn't hire a lawyer immediately. Instead, I watched, waited, and observed. I studied her routines, her habits, and the little ways she believed she could continue her double life without consequence. First, I took control of the finances. Every account she assumed was hers was quietly secured. I redirected access, ensuring that she had no easy way to spend or hide money. Then I began planting small reminders, subtle but undeniable. Documents showing the consequences of her choices appeared in her bag, her emails, even her personal diary when she thought I wasn't paying attention. The next step was exposure. I wanted her to feel the embarrassment, the fear, the helplessness she had imposed on me. Carefully, I let her social circle know, without exaggeration, without malice, about her infidelity. Her closest friends, her colleagues, even her family began to see the truth. I didn't shout it from rooftops. I let her witness it, piece by piece, until the weight of shame pressed down on her like a physical force. And then came the confrontation I had envisioned. I invited her to dinner, not as a reconciliation, but as a reckoning. She arrived, trembling, hoping perhaps that her tears could erase months of deception. I served her the truth on a silver platter, not with anger, but with the cold precision of someone who had suffered and refused to be destroyed. "You begged for mercy," I said calmly, watching her flinch. "Do you understand what that means? You wanted forgiveness without facing consequences. That's not how this works." Her pleas grew louder, more desperate, but I remained unmoved. The revenge wasn't about cruelty, it was about clarity. She had crossed a line, and I wanted her to recognize it fully. By the time the dinner ended, she understood the depth of her mistakes. I didn't humiliate her publicly, nor did I seek vengeance in the traditional sense. Instead, I gave her the gift of understanding the destruction she had caused, the loss of trust, the unraveling of her own reputation, and the knowledge that I had reclaimed my power. Now, months later, the house is quieter, the air heavier. I have moved on in some ways, but I still watch from a distance. Emma lives with the consequences of her actions every day, and I carry the lesson that betrayal can ignite a fire in even the calmest of hearts. My revenge was not violent or cruel, it was precise, deliberate, and inevitable. And in the end, it was mine. I cheated once, not in action, but in forgiveness. I allowed her to believe that love could erase betrayal. But I learned and I acted. Sometimes the best revenge is not about making someone suffer. It's about reclaiming your dignity, your control, and your peace of mind.